In this video, we are going to review the NC Math 1 EOC from 2018. For the first part of the series, I am going to cover the first 15 questions which are part of the calculator inactive section. So if we scroll down to question 1. Question 1 is, which choice is the graph of y equals 4 minus x times x plus 2? As we observe the answer choices, let me just highlight this. Okay, which choice? We notice that all graphs have x-intercepts, and in the equation we have two factors at play, 4 minus x and x plus 2. The equation is asking us to find the x-intercepts of the given equation. All we have to do is set each factor equal to 0. So 4 minus x equals 0, and x plus 2 equals 0. We have to solve for x, that is a positive x. So for x plus 2, we just subtract 2. And we get x equals negative 2. And for this one, we also subtract, but we subtract 4. We are left with a negative x. So negative x equals negative 4. But we do not want this negative in the equation. So what do? We divide by negative 1 on both sides. So we are left with x equals 4. As we observe our answer choices, we need the x-intercepts to be 4 and negative 2. Let's scroll. For A, we have a negative 2 and a positive 4, which is what we want. But let's review the answer choices, the other answer choices, as we might have to do something else. We might have to evaluate the slope or the y-intercept or whatever the case may be. So for B, we have a positive 2 and a positive 4, but we need a negative 2, so B is not a viable option. We scroll down to C, and we also see that we have a negative 2, but we don't have that positive 4, so C is not valid. We move on to D. We have a 4 and we have a 2, but they're both negative. We want only 2 to be negative. We want this 4 to be positive. So D is not the right answer, and we are left with A. Okay. Moving on, in which graph does the shaded region represent the solution set for the inequality shown below? There's 3 bits of information here. The expression in yellow, the inequality symbol in green, and the limit in 4. Okay. So, based off of the inequality symbol itself, we know that the line itself is dotted because it doesn't have that equal sign below it. If it were to have an equal sign below it, it'll be a solid line. But as you can see in our answer choices, it doesn't do us any good because they all have a dotted line. So we can't use that method to choose our answer alone. So the next best thing is to solve for y. Okay, let's solve for y. We need to subtract the 2x here. So we are left with a negative y is less than negative 2x plus 4. Now remember, we always want to have a positive variable. We never ever want a negative variable until it is stated that it exactly wants a negative variable. So in this equation, we are going to have to divide both sides by negative 1. Okay, we get y is less than 2x minus 4. But we're not done yet. Because whenever we multiply or divide by a negative number, we have to change the direction of the symbol here. So it would change directions and it will equal out to be y is greater than 2x minus 4. Okay, so this variable right here represents the shaded region. The shaded region. So the shaded region is greater than 2x minus 4. So, and this 2x minus 4 is our line. Okay, so this means that the shaded region must be above our line. And let's see that. Now, these two, A and B, are incorrect. And let me show you why. First off is that they do not have the correct slope or y-intercept. As you can see, they don't have a -4 as the y-intercept. They have a +4. So it can't be our answer. Okay. C and D have the right slope and y-intercept. However, you can see that the for C, the shaded region is below it. We don't want the shaded region below it. We want it on top of it, like in D. So D is the right answer, and C is the incorrect answer. 3. Which expression is equivalent to x plus 2 and 3x minus 3? For this problem, we can use either the box method or FOIL. Let's do FOIL for this one. We need to multiply x by all the terms in the second expression. So that means x times 3x and by -3. And when we do that, we get 3x squared minus 3x. Now we do the same for 2. So 2 times 3x is positive 6x. And then by -3, and we get -6. Now, we're not done yet because we have to combine like terms, and we have two like terms here, which is -3x plus 6x. And if we add those up, we get an end result of 3x squared plus 3x minus 6. And when we go over to our answer choices, we have A, B, C, and D. Right off the bat, we can eliminate A, we can eliminate D, and C. The correct answer is B. Cut. 4. A line y equals mx plus b passes through the point 1, 6 and is parallel to y equals 4x plus 6. What is the value of b? In this equation, we're given two bits of important information: the point it passes through and the fact that y equals mx plus b is parallel to y equals 4x plus 6. We don't need to solve for the slope, so don't worry about it. We do need to worry about b. Okay, so you need to realize how coordinate points work. So 1 and 6 is set up in the form of x and y. So to solve for b, we just need to plug 1 and 6 into y equals mx plus b. And what I mean by that is that these points will go into this expression. Let's do that. So we get 6 equals 4, 1 plus b. 1 is x, 6 is y. And we replace x and y with those numbers, we get this equation. Now we need to solve for b. 4 times 1, 4. Isolate b, we subtract 4. 6 minus 4 equals 2. 2 equals b. And that's our answer. Our answer is 2. 6. A company models its income in thousands of dollars with a function f of x equals 9x squared minus 54x minus 144, where x is the number of units of its product sold. How many units of its product does the company need to sell in order for the net income to equal 0? Okay, so the key bits of information is the equation itself. X is units sold, and the company wants the profit to equal 0. Okay. We can use the quadratic formula in this equation. However, before we use it, we can simplify this equation right here. And we can do that by dividing everything by 9. And let's do that. And x squared divided by 9 is x squared. 54x, well, negative 54x is minus 6x. And negative 144 is negative 16. And that equals out to be 0. So in a quadratic equation, and if you don't know what that is, or you might not remember, let me write it out for you. It's negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So what do the a, c, and b represent? Well, in formulas like this, the x squared represents a, x represent b, and this 16 will represent b. Okay, let's put that into the quadratic equation, or formula, whatever you want to call it. And for this equation, we get a negative 6 in parentheses plus or minus negative 6 squared minus 4 times 1 times 16, negative 16. Always remember that you have the right symbols. You never want to mess that up because it will mess up the entire equation. And then on the bottom we have 2 times 1. And if you don't know where we got 1 from, basically when we divided 9x squared, we got x squared. There's an invisible 1 next to every variable if it doesn't already have a coefficient. So no matter if it's y to the third power, there's a 1 from it. If there's 2x, there's no 1. The coefficient is 2. So if you didn't know that, there you go. When we do all the math, we get 6 plus or minus 36 plus 64 divided by 2. Okay, next step over here is that we get 6 plus minus the square root of 100 and everything. Oops. Should have made that clear, but everything is being divided by this 2. Okay. After that, it gets really easy to solve. So the square root of 100 is 10. So let me rewrite this. 6 plus minus 10 divided by 2. Now, you can do it either way, but let's start with adding first. So it's 6 plus 10 equals 16 divided by 2. X equals 8, because 16 divided by 2 is 8. Okay, now let's subtract. 6 minus 10 is negative 4. And divide by 2, as here, x equals negative 2. So here are our x values. Now we're not quite done yet. We still need to input these numbers into this equation to see which one of these numbers will equal the equation to 0. And let's do that. Okay. 9 times 8 squared minus 54, 8 minus 144. Okay, so let's do that. That is 64. 9 times 64 minus 54 times 8 minus 144. So let's do that over here. Let's erase this stuff. 64 times 9. 9 times 4, 36. We carry the 3 over here. 9 times 6 is, let me think about it. It is 54. So we get 576. And 54 times 8, that's 32. Carry the 3 over here. That is 43. And it's negative 432 because of this right here. Okay. So we have to subtract this. 576 minus 432 is 4, 4, 1. And then last of all, we have to subtract this from this. So 144 minus 144 is 0. And that is our answer. Now 7. Joanna has a total of 50 coins in her purse. The coins are either nickels or quarters. The total value of the coins is $7.10. Which system of equations can be used to determine the number of nickels n in quarters q that Joanna has in her purse? For this problem, we need to analyze, not solve, the system of equations. So we are told that she has 50 coins. And these 50 coins are composed of either nickels or quarters. Nickels are n, quarters are q. Okay. So whatever the number of nickels and quarters are, they need to equal out to 50 coins. So we know based off this, number of nickels plus the number of quarters equals 250. Okay, we have that solved. We understand that. Now, wherever the number of nickels and quarters, the total value of them is $7.10. So how do we visualize that, or how do we put that into an equation? That is simple. How much are nickels worth? They are worth 5 cents. So we write 5 cents and n, because n is the number of nickels. Okay, now we add 25 cents, because that is the value of q, quarters, and we add a q because you are multiplying the number of quarters by its value, just like we did with nickels. Okay, and that equals out to be $7.10. Is there an equation that matches this? Yes, there is, and that equation is A. Now, I'm not going to go in depth about how you could have gotten all these answers. However, if you do want a video with all of these answers explained and common errors explained, please comment down below, and we might do it based on if people want that video. So, just keep that in mind. Okay. 8. The function f of x equals negative 25.25x plus 5 models the height of a candle x seconds after it is lit. What is the meaning of the y-intercept? These are 3 points, guys. I don't know how it can get easier than that. However, if you're still confused, the y-intercept equals initial. It is basically, or usually, when the graph starts. And based off that definition I gave you, the answer choices reflect that. So for 8, the answer is A. Why? Because the y-intercept doesn't show the final height. That's most likely going to be the x-intercept where y and x equals, but you know. We're not going to get too in-depth there. The rate at which the candle is burning, no, that's the slope. The amount of time, no, that is the x change. So it's not that either. And we get A. Okay, so we're on to 9. The total cost in dollars of membership in a fitness center is given by the function C of M equals 20M plus 40. M is the number of months a person is a member. In dollars, how much is the cost of a membership for 1 year? Okay, so how long is 1 year? 1 year equals out to be 12 months. I mean, that's obvious. In M is the number of months a person is a member. So how much is the cost of membership for 1 year? So we need to input 12 into M. So the equation is 20 times 12 plus 40. What is 20 times 12? If you don't know off the bat, just multiply. 0, 4, placeholder, 0, 2. So 240 plus 40 equals 280. That is 280 bucks. $280. That's our answer. Make sure you put these types of questions, which are like free response, into the gridded answer choices correctly. Because if you don't, or you like do something weird, like instead of putting the whole number 280, you put 280 by 1, that might not always be an accepted answer choice. So be careful with what you put in there, as you might lose easy points. Okay. Water is being pumped into a 10-foot tall cylindrical tank at a constant rate. The depth of the water is increasing linearly. At 1:30 p.m., the water depth was 2.4 feet. It is now 4 p.m. And the depth of the water is 3.9 feet. What will be the depth in feet of the water be at 5 p.m.? Okay. So in yellow, let me just highlight some information. In yellow, I have highlighted all the relevant pieces of information, and in red, I highlighted the irrelevant pieces of information that is not important to solving the problem. So, and a lot of times you will see irrelevant pieces of information being thrown at you to throw you off. And the Board of Education does that to see how you analyze problems. So always look out for that. Okay, let's get to solving. For this problem, we need to find the slope or rate of change and the y-intercept. Okay, so we can translate the time in feet into x and y values. So 1:30 p.m. actually translates into 1.5. And 4 p.m. easily translates into 4. And let me just make a graph, a real quick graph actually, so that we can use slope. X, y, 1.5, 4, whatever this, I'm sorry, no, whatever this is, we're gonna put 5 here at 5 p.m. 1.5 equals 2.4, 4 equals 3.9. Okay, we have 2 coordinate points that we can use to solve for a slope. And if you don't remember the slope formula, it is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, and this is 1.5. I'm sorry. This is 3.9 minus 2.4 divided by 4 minus 1/2. And this equals out to be 0.6. So this is our slope. 0.6 is our slope. Okay. Let's erase this. I'm sorry if this takes a bit long, but now we know y equals 0.6x plus whatever our y-intercept is. And we actually know our y-intercept because our first unit of measure or initial height is given and it comes in the form of 2.4 feet. Okay, so we put 2.4. We need to solve for this 5 p.m. Okay, so what we do is we multiply 0.6 by 3.5. And why 3.5? Well, from finish to start, 5 minus 1.5 equals 3.5. So this is where we get this. It's the rate of change or time between these two units of measure. Okay, what we get here is 2.1. But we're not done yet because we have to add our 2.4. So when we add that 2.4, we get 4.5. So at 5 p.m., our answer, or the feet in depth, is 4.5. 11. Sally works at a store. X represents Sally's monthly paycheck and Y represents her monthly savings. Sally will save at least $20 more than half of her paycheck each month. She can save at most $80 more than 2/3 of her paycheck each month. Her paycheck each month is at least $1,200, but no more than $1,850. Which system of inequalities represents these constraints? Okay, so I made it easy for you guys as I highlighted in yellow each bit of important information we need to use to solve this equation. Well, not solve, but analyze, okay? So, let's do this. Let's do bullet point number 2 first, okay? Sorry, this bullet point. When Sally says she will save, she's referring to Y, okay? Y represents her savings. Half of her paycheck is represented as X divided by 2. As such, her monthly savings will be at least more than half of her paycheck with an added $20. Okay, so we have those $20 over here. And why is her savings? If she's going to at least have $20 more. So her savings is greater than or equal to half of her paycheck plus $20. Okay, we got one down. Let's go to bullet point 3. She can save at most $80, more than 2/3 of her paycheck. This time, the equation will be y is less than or equal to ... Okay, so y is less than or equal to, I apologize, 2/3 of her paycheck with $80 more. So we add 80 here. Okay. Let's go to bullet point number 3. Her paycheck each month is at least $1,200. So remember, her paycheck is symbolized by X. And it will be at least. So it can be greater than, but it can't be less than. So X is greater than or less than $1,200. And let's just put $20. $20. Doesn't really matter. But it also says it can be no more than $1,850. So her paycheck is less than or equal to 1,850. And the only answer choice that matches up with what we got is B. As I said before, I'm not going to really go in depth about the common mistakes people make when they take the EOC or end of course exams in general. If you do want a separate video on that, just comment below, or go in the video description and fill out the little form I have, Google form, that will give you a better insight in what type of video ideas you want me to do. So keep that in mind. And yeah. 12. A company uses the formula T equals 581S plus 150P to determine the total cost to purchase S computers and P printers. Which formula can be used to determine the number of printers purchased, given the total cost, T, and the number of computers purchased? Okay, we have a lot of information, but a few is relevant. So we're actually given the formula, which is pretty helpful. P is printers, total cost is T. Okay, but it wants to know the number of printers purchased. And printers is P. So we need to isolate P. But how do we do that? Well, we write the equation T equals 581S plus 150P. Now, off the bat, I would not recommend dividing or isolating P by itself. First, as like first step, instead, I would actually subtract 581S first from both sides. So you get T minus 581S equals 150P. And now you can isolate P by dividing it by 150. Both sides by 150. Sorry. 150. And this becomes your equation. And as we go to the answer choices, there's only one right answer choice, and that is C. C, C, C. Moving on. 13. What is the value of the positive zero of the function f defined by f of x equals x squared minus 121? Now, I know a lot of people consider this very fancy or confusing language, but basically when it says positive zero, it wants you to get the x-intercept, okay? And when it says positive, it just wants the greater value of the two. So let's just say you get a negative whatever, get negative x, get positive x. It does not want the negative x, it wants the positive x. So yeah. Okay, let's highlight something else. Let's highlight the equation. So for this one, all you need to really do is that we need to equal the expression to 0. Okay, that's our first step because we're trying to get the x-intercepts. So we get x squared minus 121 equals 0. That's our first step. Now we add 121 plus 121. You get x squared equals 121. Finally, we need to take the square root. So just take the square root. Now, this is definitely something you want to look at in the future. Try to remember the common trend of numbers that often get put into equations that you need to square root or multiply by. Because in the middle of the EOC, you are stressed, you can't really focus on this many problems at once, so you start to actually forget how to square root and stuff like that. So just go over the square roots the night before or a week before the EOC and you should be fine. Again, it's not that difficult, but I have seen a lot of people, myself included, just forget how to do square roots and multiply numbers just because of the stress in EOCs. So just a heads up. Okay. So when we take the square root, we get x equals 11. And that is it. Is 14. What is the value of x in the system of equations shown below? These are easy points in the EOC, as the problem is already basically solved for you. well, not solved, but it's already solved a variable for you. Let me highlight that. It's already solved a variable for you, so you don't need to solve every single variable yourself. Okay, these are easy points. Okay, notice how y equals an expression. All we have to do is plug this into this. And how do we do that? Well, we can rewrite this as 5x plus 4 parentheses 1 minus x equals 1. All we have to do is apply the distributive property onto these two. So it's 5x plus 4 minus 4x equals 1. Combine like terms, 5x minus 4x, that equals out to x. And if you wish, it can be 1x, your preference. Now it's plus 4 equals 1. And it says, what is the value of x? So we need to solve for x. Okay. We need to subtract 4. Subtract 4. X equals negative 3. And that's your answer. It's that simple. I am not joking around with you. It is that simple. 15. What is the value of the smaller zero of the function f of x equals 2x squared minus 8x minus 24? Like in a previous problem, we can use the quadratic formula. So to use for the quadratic formula for this, we need to simplify it. And I mean, you guys can use the unsimplified version. However, you're going to be dealing with much bigger numbers, which is something we do not want. Okay? We never want to deal with big numbers, and we never want to deal with decimals or fractions if we can avoid it. Okay? So we can simplify this when you divide it by 2. So when you divide it by 2, the equation equals out to x squared minus 4x minus 12. Now, by this point, you should know the quadratic formula. Please review it if you don't know it. It's going to make your life so much easier in every EOC from now on, because it does show up in Math 2, Math 3, Pre-Calc. It just shows up. Even if you're not an NC math student, maybe you do Algebra 1, Algebra 2, it does come again and show up. So keep mind of that. Okay. And if you don't really remember, I'm not going to penalize you too hard for that. So the quadratic formula is negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. And in this case, we get negative parenthesis negative 4 plus minus square root of 4 negative 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 12. And that is all divided by, here 2, so all divided by 2 times 1. Okay, write that all down if you're doing this. And just for the sake of space, let's scroll down. When we do that, we get, well, when we simplify, add everything up, we get 4 plus minus 16 plus 48 divided by 2. Simplified even further, we get 4 plus minus 64 divided by 2. At the end, we get 4 plus minus 8 over 2. Now from this, you can separate into two different equations. 4 plus 8 divided by 2. And let me choose another color. 4 minus 8 by 2 divided by 2. So this is 12 divided by 2 equals 6. This other one, on the other hand, equals 4 divided by 2 equals -2. So, as said in the problem, it says which is the smaller zero. How do you know which one is the smaller zero? Which one is the least? Okay, 6 and -2. Which one is the smaller zero? Well, -2 has the least value, so that is the smaller zero. The answer is -2. And that is the end of the video. As I said numerous times in the video, if you want any in-depth video about mistakes on any kind of subject, math, biology, chemistry, comment down below, fill out our Google form, and we'll try to get back to you. Any feedback on this video and future videos is much appreciated. And if you do want a custom video just on a different subject, a particular unit in your class, just reach out. We're free to do that. Do keep in mind that as a small YouTube channel, we try to do the most to educate our audience and to help them along their academic journeys. So yeah, be on the lookout as we make other videos based on math from algebra to pre-cal, from biology, chemistry, physics. We also do coding and technology and biomedical biochemistry stuff. So if you do want to see that kind of stuff, just stick around, subscribe, like the videos, and we will try and do that kind of stuff for you guys. But until then, goodbye. Thank you for watching our video.